So Peach Simulators is a startup that spun out from King's College London, and we're focusing on developing anthropomorphic phantoms, so fake organs that are highly realistic, anatomically correct, and have a very low cost, with the aim to reduce the use of animals and cadavers for surgical training and medical device testing.
Chest or do anything crazy, you just make a tiny little incision in the leg.
So we're a group of biomedical engineers, so we all have kind of expertise in anatomy and artificial materials. So we develop 3D digital models of anatomical structures using patient scans, and then we try to identify engineering materials that mimic and have similar properties to the human tissue to match and reproduce the human tissue using those materials.
A lot of the operations that take place in cardiology with catheters have to do with X-ray, because we can't, as I said, we can't really look on the inside. So this particular heart is made such that it looks just right under X-ray, and that means it looks very similar to water. And then underneath it, we have a spine, and the spine is made such that we have a layer of compact bone, which is very radiopaque, and on the inside we have something that looks like spongy bone. And so, once again, it looks just right in terms of visibility in X-ray, and the doctors can learn how things would look in real life and gauge, just with that tiny bit of visibility that we get, where they are and what they're doing. It's an important skill because they can map the inside of the heart. Pass through the right ventricle as well. So it's really important, and the way we do. So we are developing our own materials, and they replicate the properties of the body really well, without the need of any tissue. So they last a really long time. You can keep them in your storage room and forget about them for a year, or we just come up with polymers, plastics, rubbers, hydrogels, all sorts of things. Actually, in that little white box, and in procedures operating on the vocal cords, it's very important that we just get it right. So we use. Go. And it can bend and wiggle into shape. And we'd enter this inside of the nose, and then here we can start seeing some of the structures of the throat. And that is the esophagus, and that is the trachea, and those two are the vocal cords actually.
At the moment, the medical training, like the standard surgical training method, is using the see one, do one, teach one method, where trainees usually start operating directly on patients, just under the supervision of someone senior, or using animals or cadavers, which is, it means dead bodies. And that involves a lot of ethical concerns and really high cost, not just of purchase, but also storage, maintenance, so a lot of challenges around it. So by providing these models that are very close to the human body, we can actually reduce the need for those unethical, but also highly challenging alternatives, basically.
Inside of the trachea, there. So now we're in the trachea. Unfortunately, I'm not so proficient on injecting vocal cords and giving this mannequin speech, but doctors can do it, I promise. They can inject the vocal cords using a needle. Our technologies are used to test out new medical devices and new softwares a lot. And so AI in particular, it's really hard to test it out on animals, because animals don't look like people. And if you want it to work on people, you need to test it on something that just looks like a person. And so the only way to do this without human testing is really to make something fake that looks just like the real deal.
30-degree camera. Oh yes. Yeah. 30-degree camera base.
We've had a lot of popularity in neurology recently, and we'd like to get involved with more fields of training and testing as well, in cardiology, ENT, and so we'd like to start selling some of our models to the engineering associations, the medical associations that train new doctors, and some of the medtech developers here in the UK. And then from there we move to Europe and